never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Hi, I'm Rick, and this is Burn After Reading. Alright, so there's so many unethical actors to cover in this truly bizarre true crime world, and there's only so little time to do it. If you're new to this channel, let me tell you, I don't merely cover true crime cases. That's not where my passions lie. No, instead, it's about debunking misinformation and exposing those who exploit it for their own self-seeking purposes. That's what drives me. And over the last year, I've noticed others are doing the same, and it really encourages me that, maybe true crime cases can be covered responsibly, ethically, and last but certainly not least, empathetically. In this episode, I'll be discussing Anthony Greeno, a con man who claimed he was working with the FBI and the Carroll County Sheriff's Office to help find the killer who murdered 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams. Now, before we get into Greeno, let's go over what happened to these poor girls who had their whole lives ahead of them. On the afternoon of February 13th, 2017, a family member drops off Abby and Libby at a trail near the scenic Monon High Bridge, an abandoned railroad bridge over Deer Creek in Carroll County, Indiana. While walking on the trail, Libby posts a photo to Snapchat showing Abby crossing the bridge. Hours later, the girls failed to meet a relative as planned and were reported missing. A huge search gets underway but is called off when it gets too dark. In a news release, Carroll County Sheriff Toby Lesenby says there is no reason to suspect foul play or to believe the girls are in immediate danger. However, the next day, February 14th, 2017, the search continues for the girls, and around noon, teams find two bodies about a half-mile away from the bridge. Although authorities share the information with the media, they do not reveal the identity of the bodies. The next day, February 15th, 2017, autopsies are conducted on the bodies. That afternoon, Indiana State Police and the Carroll County Sheriff's Department hold a news conference and confirm the bodies do belong to Liberty and Abigail. They say the girls were murdered. Indiana State Police also release a photo of a man reportedly seen on the trail around the time the girls disappeared. The image shows a white male with his hands in his pockets while walking. He is wearing jeans, a navy blue jacket, and a hat. He is infamously known as Bridge Guy, or BG for short. A couple days later, February 22nd, 2017, at a news conference, police reveal Libby recorded video and audio of the suspect on her cell phone. The recording, which is released to the public, appears to capture a man's voice saying, "Down the hill." To this day, despite some promising leads, Abby and German's murders remain unsolved. Now, to know more about this case, please visit the official website at www.abbyandlibby.org. There you will find official information concerning the unsolved murders, which include news, case details, support links, flyers, and how to give a tip by phone and email to law enforcement. I will provide links in the description page below. Anthony Greeno has a long criminal history dating all the way from age 17 to today, where his ass is sitting in jail. Now, some of you might be asking yourself, well, why the hell is he even covering this guy? Well, despite being a con man, Anthony is actually very popular in the true crime community, with over 17,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, True Crime Investigates, and with over 1.4 million views. Unfortunately, he has followers who buy into what he's selling, and what he's selling is straight up figurative snake oil. I mean, it's not feasible to call out every single true crime podcaster who's unethical unless there's a good reason, and boy oh boy, there's a good reason here. Greeno isn't just a podcaster or a YouTube content creator. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing, organizing events like March for Justice and claiming to help victims' families like that of Nicole Bowen and Ray Hanisch. It looks and sounds good on the surface, just like claiming to be a war veteran and a bounty hunter. But once we start unpeeling the layers, we see a man full of lies and deception. Now, there's a lot about Greeno to uncover, and I'm not going to go into every single one of them. Instead, I'm going to refer you to Mel Roberts of Cold Truth on YouTube. She does an unbelievable job uncovering Greeno's criminal records that will flat out shock you. I'm only covering the tip of the iceberg, but she's uncovering the whole damn berg. So, please check out her channel. I will provide a link below. Okay, I'm going to read you all two news articles from the Post and Courier of Charleston, South Carolina, and WRDW of Augusta, Georgia, because boy oh boy, do they reveal a lot about this bozo. So, here's the first one. The headline reads, Self-Promoter, a Man of Many Tales. It's written by Glenn Smith, and it was published in December 28, 2013, but updated November 2nd, 2016. Glenn Smith writes, Iraqi war vet, wheelchair basketball coach, healing bead manufacturer, television producer. These are the many faces of Somerville's Renee Anthony Greeno, whose latest incarnation as an intrepid bounty hunter landed him behind bars in North Dakota a couple months back. Greeno, 27, is all over Facebook, dating websites, and YouTube promoting his bounty hunting exploits, his reality TV endeavors, and himself. But just who Greeno really is appears to be a more elusive commodity. On Facebook, he described himself as a Charleston native. On a dating website, he said that he hails from Hawaii. A former employer in Colorado said Greeno claimed to be from Texas, where his dad supposedly was a Supreme Court justice. Even his race and ethnicity are subject to debate. Court records in Indiana list him as white, while a North Dakota jail website has him as a black inmate. On the OkCupid dating site, he's listed as a Pacific Islander. But one thing is for sure, Greeno enjoys tooting his own horn. Based in South Carolina, these bounty hunters mean business all across the U.S., boasts the Facebook page of his company, Southern Bounty Fugitive Enforcement. There isn't a fugitive that can run far enough from this squad. Greeno told a Fargo, North Dakota television station in October that he has captured more than 5,000 fugitives, and an Oklahoma bail bondsman said Greeno claimed to have nabbed twice that many when he spoke with him. Southern Bounty's Facebook page notes that the company has agents in South Carolina and 11 other states, while Greeno's dating profile boasts that his annual summary approaches $500,000. Veterans in the fugitive apprehension field are highly skeptical of those numbers given Greeno's age and the fact that his bounty hunting and bail bonding companies aren't licensed to operate in the South Carolina or North Dakota states. In his dating profile, Greeno stated that he has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, served for 4 years in the Marines, and pulled 2 tours of duty in Iraq. That information could not be verified last week. He also stated on the site that he owns Benevolent Beadswork, a magnetic jewelry and therapy company in Colorado. But Michael Tennant, who answered the company's phone, said that he is the owner and Greeno never had a stake in the business beyond being an employee who left on bad terms. If he's in trouble now, then good for him, Tennant said. He's not a good guy. Tennant said Greeno claimed to be from Texas when he encountered him a few years back, but others said Greeno was thought to have grown up in Indiana, where his convictions for driving without a license, public intoxication, domestic battery, theft, and illegally entering a residence, according to court records. He ended up as a fugitive from Indiana in 2010 when he allegedly absconded from a work release program in Tippecanoe County, court records show. Greeno's ties to the Charleston area extend back to at least 2009 when folks remembered him visiting the region before his arrest in Indiana. He returned after leaving the Indiana work release program and set to work with a friend who coached the North Charleston Hurricanes, a wheelchair basketball team. When Greeno's friend died in 2012, Hurricanes player Rob Duckworth of Goose Creek said that he stepped up as a head coach and had Greeno as an assistant for about 6 months. Greeno, however, showed a volatile temper and gave tongue lashings to some of the players, Duckworth said. They finally let him go after the team's first game that year in North Carolina, where a Greeno tirade against the opposing team sparked complaints. He said Greeno continued to post online, however, that he was the Hurricanes' head coach. To meet him, he straight up seems like a nice guy, clean-cut, well-spoken, Duckworth said. He seems like a nice guy, but he's not. Greeno's bounty hunting career goes back to at least 2011 when he was stopped by a Somerville police while tracking a fugitive at Somerville Villas with 2 men decked out in tactical gear, a police report stated. The 2 men abandoned Greeno after learning he was not a licensed bounty hunter, police said. Greeno, who initially gave police a phony name, was later charged with lying to police and violating the state's bail bondsman law, a charge to which he pleaded guilty this year, police and court records show. He gave addresses in Somerville and Ladson at the time of his arrest, but the phone numbers he listed no longer work. Greeno continued posting photos, tales, and pronouncements on Facebook about his bounty hunting exploits as he worked to drum up interest in Southern Bounty, a reality TV show about his endeavors. He also traveled to Oklahoma to train with fugitive recovery agents who would later cut ties with him, saying that they questioned his experience and tactics. He posted promos on YouTube and stated that the show was scheduled to air this year on WTAT TV Fox 24, though the station's general manager said no such deal was in place. A message Greeno posted 2 months ago on the crowdsourcing website GoFundMe.com stated that he had raised $10,000 to sponsor the series. Phil Summers, a local actor and videographer who worked with Greeno on Southern Bounty in Charleston this year, said that the footage they shot was scripted with fake action and actors playing fugitives. A North Dakota-based filmmaker told the Forum News Service of Fargo a similar story about the footage he shot there before abandoning the project when he learned Greeno was a wanted man. I thought he really had something going on, something that was worth my time, said Summers, who insists he was never paid for his work. But it didn't turn out that way. The show, if there was one, has been in limbo since Greeno's October arrest in Fargo after he and the team of fugitive hunters reportedly kicked in the wrong door while hunting for a man who wasn't there. He pleaded guilty Tuesday to 3 misdemeanor charges related to the incident and is now fighting extradition back to Indiana on the 2010 escape warrant, court records and authorities said. Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Major Charles Williams said Indiana authorities are in the process of seeking a governor's warrant to haul Greeno back to the Hoosier State. Normally, the escape charge, a Class D felony, wouldn't be something for which they would bother with extradition. But for Greeno, he said, they plan to make an exception. Okay, so that's one article down. Let's now go to the second and final one. The headline reads for this one, Felon, Bounty Hunter Claims Helping with Murder Investigation. It was written by Liz Owens. It was published February 16th, 2017, but was updated March 21st, 2017. Liz Owens writes, They make a living capturing people wanted by the law. The popularity and interest in bounty hunters has spiked thanks to reality shows like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Anthony Greeno is reality show and self-described star of a show you might not have heard of yet. He sounds convincing. He looks convincing. He hopes you think so too. Kidnapping, robbery, and murder, they are dangerous, they are on the run, and they are wanted. Bounty hunters are known as recovery agents in Georgia and runners in South Carolina, and they make a living off capturing bad guys. So this is going to be a $50,000 bond, and it's going to be a $5,000 payout, Anthony Greeno says in cell phone he posted on Facebook. We are in Augusta, Georgia now. That's the sheriff's office, he says in the video. We meet Anthony Greeno through Jim Stakowick. You might recognize him from his many roadside protests in Columbia County. The two told us they were recovery agents or bounty hunters, and they were looking for someone in Richmond County. Agent Greeno, as he refers to himself, says his company, Southern Bounty, is a chapter of the U.S. Fugitive Enforcement Team. He says he has made hundreds of arrests. As a company under my leadership, we have made over 5,000. Personally, I made 300 to 400, Greeno told us. I've done some in South Carolina and Georgia. We go all over, but mainly states with no licensing, he added. South Carolina does require runners to be licensed. Georgia requires agents to be licensed to carry a gun, undergo annual training, and to check in with local authorities before going after someone. According to Richmond County Sheriff's Office, Greeno and his friend did not check in with them, nor had they ever. Same goes for Columbia County. Greeno admits he has no license, but what he does have and proudly shows off is uniform, handcuffs, guns, and a badge. Liz Owens asks, What does that badge mean to you? Anthony Greeno replied, Honor. It means integrity, protecting the people I love. We understand there may be some individuals in our county or in Richmond County or in our area where, who are performing illegally, and we are looking into that, Major Steve Morris with Columbia County Sheriff's Office said. We started looking into Anthony Greeno too. Southern Bounty is not a registered business in South Carolina, and Greeno is not a licensed runner, most likely because he has a record. Greeno was found guilty of several misdemeanors in South Carolina, including violating the state's bondsman law. In Indiana, he pled guilty to domestic battery, theft, residential entry, and escape. We can break down doors without a warrant. Usually I carry a taser. Ultimately, arresting people is what I like to do, Greeno told News 12. You do get a lot of bad apples that come into every business, especially the bonding business, because they think it's a quick dollar, licensed bondsman Ed Wilson said. Wilson has built a career around law enforcement, spending most of it, he says, chasing those who don't show up for court or jump bail. We have been pushing for years to get improvement in the bail bondsman business, he said. He believes South Carolina needs to stiffen bondsman laws. We need to make sure they are more educated on picking people up, making sure they show up for court, he said. The required training in South Carolina only teaches bondsman law, but correct procedures for breaking down doors, handcuffing, and chasing suspects. Now that last sentence sounds a little bit awkward. I think, although I'm not sure what Liz was trying to write, was the required training in South Carolina only, I don't know. It was just a really weird sentence, so if it seems awkward, I I don't know. That's just how she has it written. Anyways, moving forward, unlike Georgia law, South Carolina also does not require out of state bondsmen to notify local authorities when they're picking up someone. South Carolina law also allows convicted felons to become licensed bondsmen. 10 years needs to have passed since the conviction, but even that appears to be negotiable. Case in point, Ernest Smith, he pled guilty to tax evasion 7 years ago. Today, he's licensed in South Carolina. The department has a lot of discretion at the top of the actions we take, Ray Farmer with the South Carolina Department of Insurance said. A felony is pretty serious, so if a felony is involved, we will look behind what the action was. We don't necessarily revoke their license, he added. The director of the South Carolina Department of Insurance chose to fine Ernest Smith instead of revoking his bondsman's license. Back to Anthony Greeno. That's what happens when you run and crash. You hurt people, people die, so our advice to you, don't run from our bounty hunters, Greeno said in a Facebook video. Many of Greeno's own brushes with the law comes from bounty hunting. In South Carolina, he was busted for working as a runner without a license. In Indiana, he pleaded guilty to residential entry, theft, domestic battery, and escape, which were all felonies. Liz Owens asks, "You've hurt innocent people in the process. Do you feel like you're doing more harm than good?" Anthony responds, "No." Liz Owens then asks, how can you be a recovery agent with being a convicted felon?" Anthony Greeno replies, "In states that don't require licensing, anyone can be a recovery agent." But again, there are license requirements in both South Carolina and Georgia. If it is occurring, it is obviously a violation of law and dangerous, Major Steve Morris said. Anyone can do it. You could get out of prison, get a file from a bondsman, and go arrest someone tonight, Greeno told Liz Owens. "I think this is in my blood to do this, and until the day I die," he said. Impersonating a runner in South Carolina is only a misdemeanor charge. If Greeno gets caught again, then he'll go to jail for up to 30 days or pay up to $500 fines or both. It's a small price to pay for the money Greeno says he's making on capturing people. He bragged on Facebook about getting a $5,000 payout on a $50,000 recovery. He is fined and or serves the time only if he is caught. So here's where we have the update from March 21st, 2017. The update reads, "A self-proclaimed bounty hunter and reality star is stirring up trouble again, but this time in Indiana. We first told you about Anthony Greeno last month when he was in our area, bounty hunting. Liz Owens uncovered he is a convicted felon and unlicensed as a recovery agent/bounty hunter. Anthony Greeno disappeared the week our story aired. A few weeks ago, after going missing, he posted on social media that he was back in Indiana working with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and FBI to find a killer. 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams disappeared while hiking in February. They were later found murdered in the woods about 70 miles outside of Indianapolis. Carroll County Sheriff's Office tells us Greeno is not working with them. Our investigation in February uncovered Greeno's business and is not a registered business in South Carolina, and he is not a licensed runner/bounty hunter. Greeno is a convicted felon. Felons are prohibited from becoming bounty hunters in South Carolina, Georgia, and Indiana." So I just wanted to share all of that with you because I understand at some point Anthony Greeno will be getting out of jail. And I assume he's going to be creating content again. And I just want to make it very clear in my opinion, this is not an honorable guy. I think there's a track record that proves that. And I want you to be aware of it. Now, I covered, like I said, the tip of the iceberg. You guys need to see the whole iceberg itself because, again, Mel Roberts did a great job. They're very long episodes, but they're well worth it. Please go to her site, check out her episodes, because I'm telling you, this guy should not be covering, in my opinion, he should not be covering true crime cases. He should not be reaching out to families' victims saying that he's going to help. I don't think he does. So, take it for what it's worth. Hopefully you do. And until next time.